welcome back to another edition of Smackdown Out of 10 right here on the Wrestle Debate. Go home show for Hell in a Cell. We've still got two massive Hell in a Cell matches to build to, so tonight should be an exciting show. Let's get straight into it. We started off with Kevin Owens, and he was on the KO show with Daniel Bryan as guest. The two men were discussing the future. Bryan suggested that the Intercontinental Championship got on the line every Friday. Owens had other plans and suggested they should become a tag team. Ziggler and Rude came out, declared themselves the best tag team in the world before the Street Profits and Nakamura and Cesaro came in, and there was a brawl, and we returned to see the faces against the heels. Daniel Bryan tagged in and hit a huge dive to the outside on Cesaro, but was caught in the ring. Bryan hit a running knee on Cesaro, but injured himself doing it and took himself out of the action. Cesaro and Dawkins were in the ring, and KO hit a cannonball, getting himself on top before Rude and Ziggler came in. Ford then tagged in and got the pin off a frog splash after Dawkins set Cesaro up with a spine buster. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Really enjoyed this match and a happy start to SmackDown. Next up on SmackDown, the Street Profits Daniel Bryan and KO were celebrating before Sami Zayn came in and held up the Intercontinental title before we got Bianca Belair v Zelina Vega. Vega was tossed around the ring straight away. Belair was taunting Vega with some ticks, and she countered a move from Vega after she momentarily got on top and lifted her up before tossing her aside and hitting the KOD for an easy win. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, just your regular squash match, but I do hope this is the start of a push for Bianca Belair because she definitely deserves it. Sullivan took on Shorty G next up on SmackDown. Gable was being thrown around the ring like a ragdoll early on, but he went for Sullivan's eyes. Gable took a few shots before Sullivan hit the freak accident, and after the match, Shorty G crawled over and said, "I quit." 5.75 out of 10, second squash match in a row, and you've just ruined Shorty G. But hopefully, he said he might be going back to Chad Gable. Don't mark that up, please. Thanks. Seth Rollins basically said he was going to kill Murphy next up before Bayley was out and mocked Sasha Banks ahead of their women's title match. Sasha Banks was trying to get Bayley to sign a contract, but the champ attacked her with a steel chair. Sasha snatched the title and used the steel chair to trap Bayley's head, forcing her to sign the contract. And that was it. Nice little build. I think this is a really interesting match, and it was definitely an interesting build. So yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. Running skits all through the night from Law and Otis. So the first little bit was Otis and Miz giving their own testimonies. Otis kind of won that before Morrison was testing against Otis, while Rey Mysterio, Asuka and Tucker were for him. JBL called a recess and said he was going to return his verdict. He said he was going to rule in favour of Otis, but then Miz gave him briefcase as evidence. We didn't see what it is. He changed his mind, and now we're getting a match for the Money in the Bank contract. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10, probably the highlight SmackDown for me. Really enjoyed it. Otis's character just suits it, and I'm just kind of worried about what they're going to do. However, just don't muck up Otis. Thanks. Next up was Seth Rollins versus his former disciple Murphy. Rollins was taunting Murphy off the bat before the Australian took control. Rollins went for a headlock, and Murphy returned the favour. Murphy's meteor injured Rollins' arm, but Rollins took advantage very quickly. An arm breaker on the apron dropped Murphy as Aaliyah looked on concerned backstage. Rollins then hit a buckle bomb after the commercials and a Falco arrow for a near fall. He went for the stomp twice, but Murphy countered it before taking it a third time and going down for good. After the match, Rollins attacked Murphy with a kendo stick before Aaliyah stopped her, and then we had all of the usual stuff with Dom and Ray. I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. It was a decent match, but this story's just getting tired. Reigns was then out with Paul Heyman, and Jimmy Uso showed up on the Titantron straight away to tell Roman that he had lost touch with reality, while Jay ambushed Roman from behind. Jay got a steel chair but took a big boot before getting up to hit a super kick and a splash. Reigns got on the mic and said that if he lost the I Quit match, he would lose the title, but if Jay lost, both the Usos and their families would be kicked out of the Anoa'i family. The Hell in a Cell came down to threaten Reigns and Jay as the show ended. This is great. I just can't wait for Sunday in this match. It's going to be so good. Overall this week, SmackDown gets a 6.25 out of 10 from me. Now, this may be a bit harsh in some people, but oh dear. I just didn't think there was enough on this show, really. I think the bits that are on the show are 6.5 out of 10, but for a go-home show, I kind of would have expected a bit more depth. There was only a very few matches, most of which were squash matches. So yeah, a bit of an iffy show. Hey guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Remember to follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to my other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.